Finally, a show about you. A show where your questions, comments, and concerns are aired for all to hear. You have an opinion, and we want to hear it. Hosts Mike and Jenn have worked together for over 3 years and will provide you with the best intuitive information they have. This show has no limits. This show has no boundaries. This show is spiritually imperfect. Now, your hosts, Mike and Jenn.
We're back.
I said happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Tuesday. Welcome to Spiritually Imperfect. We're here. We're back. After somebody whined and complained that we took their title. They thought they could keep us down. Nope. Here we are.
Hello, Courtney. There's Jeffrey and Jennifer. There's Rita. Thank you, Rita. Todd threw that together for us in a hot second.
Yeah, we found out Thursday or Friday we had a copyright or something infringement, and
yeah, switch it before Monday.
And then here we are.
That's
We're
right.
still the same.
Hello, Andrea. Gina, I did have a good weekend. I hope you had a good weekend as well.
And Courtney finally got her cards. I finally got off my duff and mailed them.
Awesome. Courtney says she has a tattoo called Perfectly Imperfect on her hand.
Cool.
It is cool.
I always wanted a tattoo. Now that I've had a kidney transplant, now I can't get a tattoo.
You don't have any?
No.
I'm really surprised.
I couldn't think of anything I wanted permanently tattooed.
That's the fun part. I couldn't either. I have a lot of regret on my arms. Some that I love. But you know what? That's just part of the process.
True. So we have an idea of what we want to talk about today. Well, Jenn did. I wanted to beat a dead horse, but it's already been beat. Over and
First,
over and over.
I have to say, just really quick, not to interrupt you, my daughter, she says hi, Wiener, so I'm going to just say it back. Hello.
That's your daughter on there saying hi?
That's my daughter. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about mediumship development or spiritual development, whatever abilities, whatever avenue you're going on, developing. For me, and I believe for Michael as well, is really about personal development. You can't help but develop one and not the other. At least that's what I have learned.
I learned that slowly.
Yeah.
And it's really like my epiphany probably came about probably around the time that I left my job. Because you always hear people talk about going through, some people label it as dark night of the soul. To me, it's just really understanding who you are as a person. And I'll make a point because I do like to babble, but this is actually going to have a point. So stay with me. What I find now, and I think this is important for everybody to pay attention to, is if you're going to do this work, you really need to, unscrew yourself in a way and figure out, what your triggers are, work on yourself, get that junk squared away and really know who you are, especially if you're going to step out and do this work publicly, because here's why. Obviously, the internet is not a friendly place to mediums and psychics. I don't think I've found any medium that hasn't been, criticized in some way. But what I find is if you haven't reached that level of development where you know who you are, you're comfortable what you are, who you are, and what you do, the comments and criticisms won't get you. For me, especially, that's where I'm at. I've actually been here for a while, but I think it's only come to pass recently that I don't let that stuff bother me. At least I won't let it stop me from going forward. People can criticize, and I look at that as they don't know me, I don't know them, and their words mean nothing. And don't let it stop you.
And social media can be a vicious place.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the way around. Not just, I guess what I'm saying, it's not just for mediums, not just for psychics. It's something everybody has to learn. I think when it comes to that is at the end of the day, and that, that's something that I've learned through my mediumship and my development. At the end of the day, what really matters, who really matters.
Yeah.
And I've learned that through a lot of readings. I've learned the art of gratitude, the importance of forgiveness. I've learned that the little things are what is really important. Rarely does spirit come through with a memory that is huge and fantastic and costed, thousands of dollars and lots of hours of time. It's generally something very small. The time I taught you to ride the horses, or, it's those moments of time that are really important.
It is.
That's one thing I've really learned, is that we don't have to have these huge gestures to show people how much they mean to us. And that's kind of been life-changing for me, because, I always kind of felt like maybe I wasn't doing enough. I didn't know how to do more. I didn't have the means to do more. And so that's one thing that I've really learned, is that it doesn't require that. It doesn't require that. Spirit has never, for me, I will say, come through with something just massive. The way that they show their love and continue to express it in the afterlife is with those small moments.
Yep. And we hear those as just cliches, but I mean, it's the truth. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's definitely little things. I don't know why I just thought of this, but I heard I was listening to Wayne Dyer a couple of days ago. I listen to him every now and then, and it's a lot of good stuff. But one thing he said caught my attention. He goes, "We're on a round trip ticket right now from the spirit world. It's like, we came from there, we will go back there." And it's just, basically just remember that this is just a temporary thing. And I was like, yeah. I mean, we've all heard that over and over, that, we come in, we're going to leave at some point. But it was just the way he put that, is we're on a round trip ticket. I'm like, wow, yeah, we are. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't take things so damn serious.
And, it's also just helped me in my everyday life. I think I know my everyday awareness is sharper. I tend to pay attention to things more. I used to be really proud of the fact that I was like a multitasker. I could do 100 things at one time. Fact of the matter is, I never did one of those 100 things well, because I had all of these other things going on. And so in this development, it's really taught me just to slow down and to focus in this one area. So I can no longer multitask. I'm a hot mess. I got to finish what I do, and then I've got to move on. What?
The only place I was proficient at multitasking was my former life in air traffic control, because you could not, you didn't want to screw that up, because, people die. So,
right.
But in my personal life, yeah, I'm a squirrel. I mean, I can't keep my attention on one thing for too long. But I think
I definitely am.
Yeah. And I think all mediums, I've had this conversation before in the past, but the more I go forward with this work, I believe it's true. We all have some form of either, autism, ADD. I think any medium, we all have a touch of it. And I believe it's a benefit to this work. Because I know I have traits of that, and my good friend and, first teacher, Mimi, it was years. I mean, she was mid-40s when she finally went and got, diagnosed with, I think it was Asperger's, which is a form of autism. I mean, she knew she was, different. And the thing with Mimi is, and I had to remember this, that she didn't understand sarcasm, because everything was very literal with her. And I was like, wow, so it all made sense for her. And it was such a relief for her when she finally understood why, so, but yeah, long story short, I think we all have a touch of that.
I think so. I've always got 100 irons in the fire. I've just learned which one to go to first and to spend a little bit of time there, right?
Yeah. But
So,
go ahead.
oh, I was just looking at Courtney's comment. She said you got to be kind. And that's another thing. I've always had a large dose of empathy and compassion, but I feel it more. I really realized from doing readings how, there's a saying, can't remember it exactly, be kind because everybody's going through something you know nothing about, is very, very, very true. Very true. I've learned that. I've learned that through readings, and I think it's just brought me this just kind of extra natural level of being kind to people, being patient, being compassionate, and I've learned that through stories, spirit stories. So
Yep.
that's been huge for me.
Yeah, I've really tried to be or tried to pay attention to those concepts of being, especially in traffic. I mean, that's a trigger for a lot of people, but it's like just let them have the lane, let them go ahead of you.
Right.
In the past, where I'd race up to let no, you're not getting in front of me. Now I'm just like, it's not worth it. Just slow down, let people go. Just like you said, just remember everybody's going through something. You
Right.
don't know, and it's just like, yeah, just be mindful of that. And I try to, but the Italian Irish in me fights that like every second.
Especially in traffic. You're right. Everybody has the traffic thing.
Oh my God, my middle finger is like permanently extended. And I've talked about this before when I used to have this bright green motorcycle and I was the only one in town. I was like, I got to sell this thing because people are going to
Everybody
know who the
knows.
hell I am. So get rid of this thing, blend in, because that middle finger is going to get you just in a lot of trouble.
Get you. So I see there's a comment here, except I can't see who it is. It's coming in, I believe maybe from our group. It says, hi guys, can't believe I caught the show finally. Are we pulling cards today? We are.
Eventually, I have.
Yes, we are. And I'm glad you did catch the show.
I have my tea leaves.
Ooh.
A whole box of tea leaves. And I like I like using these every now and then. Today I just had this thing because they're quick. And I can move through them quick. And I need that sometimes. So yes. We'll probably get started here shortly. We like to go through the comments, answer questions, and then jump into it. But Courtney, yeah, even when I don't agree, sometimes just not speaking your mind makes a difference. Proving my point is not going to change them. And yeah, and I've slowly learned that, especially with the internet. It's funny. You go on anything that's a debate, and I mean, have you ever seen a kind comment in a debate on Facebook? And it's just like, and I hate to say the word evolve, but I think I've evolved past getting involved with that stuff because I used to just stir the pot. I mean, I love stirring the pot, especially when I was in the military. That was just the way you survived. The thing in the military was the way you showed affection was giving people the business. I mean, like constant. It was like there was no mercy, but that's how you knew people liked you. If nobody talked to you or was like, just wanted anything to do with you or didn't mess with you, then you knew you were in trouble. So I've had to kind of step away from that mentality a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. It'll never go away. But yeah, I let people have the last word. I don't care about that anymore. It's like, no, you go ahead and have it. Mine will be on my gravestone. And it will probably be the middle finger.
Just like the business card. There's Kat. Thanks for joining us. I'm just going to scroll back up, see who we've got here. Good morning, David. There's Joni. I hope I'm trying not to miss anybody. There's Neva. There's Rita. Thanks for joining us.
I know. I try this. I mean, again, if we don't personally say hello, please know that we're not skipping you. It's just the comments sometimes go by quick. And we always appreciate everybody tuning in and being here with us. We especially love the people that have been voting for our show. Even though there might have been a little sabotage going on with the network yesterday. I think somebody's after us.
Yes, you guys really came through for us. So thank you for those votes. It's been fun watching.
It's curious, right? We had to change our name of our show, and then a power line gets cut. I'm starting to see some connections going on here.
I don't know what they are, but they're definitely there. I see my sister on there. Hello, Amy. Hi, Shelly.
We have to watch it too because we vote against Todd's show too, and
I know
he's kind of in charge of everything. Courtney,
I might have put a downvote on there once or twice.
I may have too.
That's the game. That's the game.
But you got to play the game. It's all for fun. It's all for fun. Or is it?
Never know. What do you say, Michael? You ready for some cards?
Yeah, you guys put some questions in there. We'll do some cards.
Do we want to pull up a link?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling comments first. Just go quick.
Okay,
then we'll see. Maybe around the half-hour point.
All right, let's do it.
Kat.
I see you there, Kat.
Yeah, we see you. I don't know what comment.
So if you have a question, throw one up there. I have a couple of decks of cards here. I may not even use a card.
Me either.
And Michael has his tea leaves.
I do. I may or may not use them.
Yeah, I may just see what comes in. So if you have any questions, throw them up there. Hello, Ane.
Hello. Which one of us is Sunshine? I bet you it's not me.
I don't know, Courtney. Is there? Could be.
So, Kat, I was just curious if you, Mike, were the same one who was in the live with about 5 or 6 others and shared the story about your daughter. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so someone's asking for a card. I can't see your name though. It's just saying
Facebook user.
If you could just request again and just pop your name at the end of it. Your first name's fine.
Kat, was I talking about my daughter or was I talking about my sister that has passed? Because I talk about Jackie all the time.
Yes, you can vote again today, Joni.
Oh, I got to mention this. I don't know why. I've been at TikTok, and these people kept saying, "Hey, it's Walter something," and I'm like, I thought they were just heckling me. And I was like, finally, Sheila's like, "Don't you know who that is?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "The guy from Breaking Bad." I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I get told all the time that I look like him, especially if I do the look. So people on TikTok have been saying, "What's Walter doing on TikTok?" You know? I'm like, all right, now I get it.
That was such a good show, though.
It was.
All right, I'm going to pull a card here for Janessa.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
Janessa, this card's really interesting for you, and I'm not going to go into it, but it's a community card. The answer is yes, and it's talking about happy families, reunion, coming home, celebrations, teamwork, success, community spirit. And you and I actually just talked yesterday, so you understand what this card means, and I'm so happy that this card came up for you. And I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave that with you, but I am going to tell you this. Sorry, because this is coming in too. I know you're going through it right now, and the way that I'm feeling it is that you are going to go through it a little bit more, but just like that card says, I want you not to, I'm hearing just don't give up, just keep pushing forward, And I do feel like things are going to come into your favor, but I do feel like it's going to be maybe even a little bit harder before it gets better. But keep the hope, keep the faith, and just keep moving forward. Know that you are very, very guided and supported from the other side. Please read those words that your father wrote for you in the book. Your answers are there. I've never told you this before. Your answers are there. I've seen the book. Just go forward in faith. That's what I want to tell you. Okay. Just go forward in faith, and love, and you can't go wrong. Okay. And I'm going to leave that with you, Janessa.
So let's see. I pulled a card for Jennifer. Not you, Jennifer. Valentin.
Okay.
So again, these are tea leaves. So what came up? I was just in there. There's a box of them. So I just kind of I just let myself be pulled towards it. So this came up for you, Jennifer Valentin. It's the tulip, and it says great passion. So what this says to me is, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of stress going on right now around you, and I just feel you need to focus on what drives you. And this doesn't have to be job, nothing with money. It doesn't have to be associated with that, but it's reminding you to do what makes you happy. What's your passion in life? Because I feel like a lot of us, we've pushed that aside, but I just feel like when we turn back towards what we enjoy doing, I don't know, it just gives us a fresh perspective on what may be important to us and help us move forward. So I don't know if that makes any sense for you, but that's what I'm feeling.
Joanne, Prince Edward Island. I want to go there. I've got a friend that lives there, and she always sends me the most beautiful, beautiful pictures right there, like on the island by the ocean. It's amazing.
I think we went by that.
I'm glad you're there. That's a great place to be.
All
right, who else? I'm going to scroll up here for a minute.
Oh, so good, Jennifer. I'm glad that made sense for you. So Joni Waters, I'm feeling.
I was just going there. We must be like, whoop, you go first. That was just funny.
So let me just see, because with the tea leaves too, it gives us 12 months out of the year. So I'm kind of feeling into this. I'm feeling though, Joni, it might not be as soon as you're hoping. I'm feeling actually into 2024, which is probably not what you want to hear, but let me feel more into this.
I'm feeling the number 6. So at a minimum, what is that? January?
Joni, I know this is going to sound familiar. I just feel like there's something that you need to do for yourself right now. And part-time work may be better for you or beneficial for you as opposed to jumping into something full-time. I just feel like you need this break. You need to step back or remain out of like a full-time career. And I already know some of your situation, because we've talked, but I just feel like there's something that you need to focus on with yourself right now. I just don't feel anything full-time coming in this year. I feel like that will have to wait till after the new year. So I don't know what you're getting, Jen.
Oh, I was just letting you go. I just felt like the 6 months or the number 6. And so I feel like that's when you may feel a shift, right? I'm not saying that's when you will have the job, but that's when you may feel the shift. She's so sweet. I don't want to go back to work. That's where you might feel a shift, Joni, and maybe a push to go in another direction. But I feel like I'm with Michael. I feel like it's going to be a while.
Let's see. I got to go back to this question from Tammy Benson, and I'm not connecting with your husband right now. I just want to make that clear from the beginning. But what I'm going to tell you is what I've had from other, readings that come through. the people that we've been connected with in this life, the physical life, whether it's a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, once they leave the physical realm, their primary thing for us is just for us to be happy. That's what they want. So they are actually happy that we find somebody else to spend our time with. They encourage that. So I just want to keep that short, but that's like a general consensus out of the readings that I've done. I've never had anybody come through saying, I don't approve of that relationship. No, they made a commitment to me, and, no, that's not even close to anything I've ever experienced. So I'll just leave it at that.
Joni, I see your comment. She says, thank you. Now I'm not stressed about having to start job hunting. So when I see that, there was just one more thing that came to me. I don't feel like you're actually going to have to hunt. I'm telling you that I feel like after some time, something is going to present itself to you. It's going to feel right. I don't feel like it's going to be this big, long search for something. Something's just going to come. There's going to be an opportunity that's going to present itself. And then, of course, you get to make the decision, right? But I just wanted to tell you that when you were talking about job hunting, that came to me.
And sorry, Jennifer, Valentin, we just do like one each. So we're just going to jump around. We're not going to do multiple questions for people because then it takes up other time. So we're just doing one at a time. Let's see. Renee. How you doing, Renee? So she's waiting on some official paperwork. Does it look like it's favorable for me? My initial gut reaction to that, it feels a little like middle of the road. Like I'm just feeling
not
like,
what's expected is how I feel.
It's kind of like 50-50. It's not going to be like completely terrible and not 100% favorable for you, but there's going to be some middle ground is what I'm feeling. So I feel like there's some compromise. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I feel the same. I just feel like there might be some unexpected things in there. But again, like Michael said, it doesn't mean that it's not somewhat favorable. Just expect the unexpected is kind of what I feel like with that. Okay. So Tammy said he is living. So here comes the thing we were talking about earlier, Michael.
Okay, so I assume that your husband has passed, so that was my mistake.
Johnny, that one's on you. Okay, so I see.
You're welcome, Renee. Whoever's asking for a reading about your personal life, that's way too broad, and we don't see who you are, so we don't know your name. But the more specific you can make the question, the easier, because general in this type of environment does not work because there's not enough time to go into like everything. So if you have something that you can narrow down that you're worried about or concerned about, that helps us kind of focus in.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see a career change for me? Cheyenne. I want to tell you this. I do, but I feel like it's something that you're going to have to work towards. I feel like it's something you want. I feel like it's something you desire. I feel like it's something that is coming for you, but I also feel like there has to be some active manifestation on your part, if you understand what I mean by that. I don't know if for some reason some type of schooling or training is in my mind. They might have to go through first. Do you understand that? But so that's the long answer. The short answer is yes.
Whoever's asking about health, we do not do health questions. Sorry. I mean, hopefully praying that everything goes right, but we do not do health or legal. Those are the two my top I will not touch, is legal or health, and for obvious reasons.
Cheyenne, yes.
Tanya.
So I saw another question.
Tanya, I'm seeing something about go play the lottery.
Yeah, I was just reading that question.
And because you just read Cheyenne, and I kind of was feeling something not completely different, but I was feeling, I don't see a career change, but I see something. I was just feeling where you are right now, there's going to be a change within, like, where you work now. That's what I was feeling, like either moving up or doing something different where you are now. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I usually try to go with, like when I read a question, the initial feeling I get reading into it, feeling into your energy, I go with that. And that's what I felt. Buttons 68. Do you see the rift between me and my siblings being healed? Yes, but it's going to take compromise on everybody's part. So
that's what I have as well.
Someone's got to be the one to stand up, and I feel it's you, to just say, okay, what's in the past is in the past. Let's talk. Let's work through this. But it's going to take compromise. And it's going to take, again, I feel it's you, because I don't know, I'm just getting a sense like you're the leader, you're the one they look up to, or I don't know. I just feel this about you, but I feel that you got to initiate it. So, okay, so Cheyenne's replying, I can see that too. My boss is wanting me to get licensed. So that's what I was feeling. Because I felt like you're not being challenged enough, and I feel you're bored. And I can relate to that. Let's see.
So someone is asking, my husband and I are considering a trip to Florida, traveling by train in the first part of November. Do you see us having a good and safe trip? We live in Kansas.
Funny enough, what I feel is like you need to have patience. You need to have tolerance for others I'm just feeling like the train environment. We all have this romanticized, thought about how it's going to go. And then when you get there, it's completely different. So what I'm feeling initially is just have an open mind and be prepared just to deal with other people. And I feel if you can kind of just, again, like we were talking earlier about just being kind, even though people may not be kind to you, don't be triggered. Don't add to the hostility that you might encounter in that environment. I feel if you do that, I feel everything's going to be fine.
I'm also feeling with that, the word delays. So it kind of just goes with what Michael was saying, be patient. I do expect some delays. That's what I'm seeing, that the things might not go on schedule or exactly, as planned, but yeah, you're going to have a good trip. There's just, just keep those things in mind and have a fun trip. That actually sounds
It does.
Fun.
Go with the flow. Oh, Cheyenne, I'm sitting here playing games right now. See, you need a challenge. All right. Let's see. Where are we?
I'm scrolling.
I'm scrolling and scrolling.
So does anybody have any questions? It doesn't even have to be card questions. It could be questions about mediumship, your spiritual journey. Just whatever, throw it up in there.
I love talking about people's development.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I'm just going to go on a tangent.
Get the energy moving. Let's get the conversation going. So if you've got something, pop it in there for me.
You leave it to us. You may be sorry.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
We need some interaction here.
Okay. So we don't have any questions, but there is something that I want to talk about really quick.
See, here we go. Here we go.
Yep, here we go. Here comes the tangent. You left it up to me. But it's a question that I get a lot. It's something that people talk about a lot. And it's something that I've actually got to experience myself in the last couple of weeks. And this was children and their abilities. So I want to tell you what I learned from that, right? Because I actually got to have like a hands-on experience with it. I know what I know. I know what I tell my clients, right? When they talk about their children having abilities, I know what we talk about, but I actually got to witness this with a child, and it was mind-blowing. But I learned so much from a 5-year-old from that. I really, really did. I'm telling you, she didn't hesitate. She didn't question herself. She didn't care if she looked silly. She didn't care if she got anything wrong. She just kept going. And she was absolutely mind-blowing and inspiring. So I've been meaning to talk about that because I wanted to talk about those children that have abilities, or we believe that they have abilities. Her mother was asking me, what do I do with this, And the best response that I can come up with that is we don't need to encourage it, but we also don't need to discourage it. They're young. We don't need to be bothering them. Hey, can you read this? Can you look at, like, they have to be children. But when they do speak on it, it needs to be validated. And I feel like they really need to be listened to. And I think that is the best, I can't talk now, the best, the best way to foster that.
And I remember when you told me about that, I was like, yes, I wish, that they could be our teachers.
Oh,
and
my
that
goodness.
we could recapture that time where, we didn't have that baggage about worrying about what people thought about us. I always go back to the kid in Big Daddy with Adam Sandler when he went to school wearing a cummerbund, cowboy boots, and just did not care. I'm like, we need to find that person in us again, especially if you're doing this work.
Yes.
Because like you said, they just let it fly.
Yeah.
I was going to say something on top of that too. Now
I found it to be interesting because her mom had talked to me about it and was just like, can maybe you can teach her and work with her a little bit. Man, after she went off, I was just like, oh, no, she's gonna be teaching me. This is gonna be like a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Tanya. Okay, so Kat. Oop, there it is. This one is for you. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I can't tap into this card with you. So give me just a second. I'm not going to go with that card because it's not saying anything. I don't just want to read the card and make it fit, but I don't feel it. So give me just a second.
And then we got to read. I'll go to Todd's question. He put it in the chat afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to pull one of these cards.
And again, people, we don't see every comment. They are coming through, but there's so many coming through that we sometimes miss them. So, and remember, we can't get to everybody's. So I just want to remind you that they do come through. This is an hour-long show. We try to get to as many as we can. But sometimes we just don't have that time to do that.
Okay, so two of these cards came out, and the first one was about planting seeds, and the second card is believe in magic. So I kind of feel like I don't know if there's a new project or some changes you're trying to make. This is going to sound weird. I feel that it might have to do with your physical health. Plant those seeds, work towards it, and things can change. So I don't know if you can validate that with your physical health. I don't know if it's a work. It's nothing major. I don't know if it's a workout routine you just started, a change in diet. I feel something. I feel something along those lines in your energy. We'll wait. Unless you have something in the meantime.
Well, I'll just go to Todd's question
Okay.
because he was asking, how does someone know when a spiritual awakening starts to happen? I think it's when you get that nudge to start exploring the spiritual side of things. I mean, it's not this big firecracker 4th of July show where it's like, boom, I'm in a spiritual awakening. I think there's things that lead up to it. And it's for many of us, it's when the world around you just seems to be crumbling, or that's what it appears to you. And just everything's just, I can only relate to my experiences, which are, most people know about, but it forces you to look at something outside the physical. Like that's what it did for me. When I wasn't sure I was going to survive what I was going through, it was like, well, you start looking at the metaphysical, and, a lot of people then turn to church and religion because they're looking for something to give them comfort. So I think that when you get that nudge to, like, I don't know, maybe you're not content anymore, and that feeling of there's got to be more, I feel that that could be some of the triggers that kind of set you on that path. We could talk a whole show about that, but just in briefly, that's some of it.
So Andrea is talking about how old are children when they stop seeing spirit. I don't believe that there's an age. I believe that it has to do with, how they feel about it. How are people responding to them? What kind of an environment are they in? How comfortable are they? How's it being received when they speak to their people, their family, their parents about it? I think that I really feel like that's what shuts us down. It's not, necessarily being normalized.
Yeah, I mean, especially, when they start school, and they start fitting in, it's kind of like that's when we want to fit in, so we're not going to talk about, or if they do bring it up and they get that look from somebody like, you just grew a third head, that's when it shuts them down, and it's like, okay, I got to start just being normal, and fit in. But I think, like Jen said, we have these abilities from the moment we come here. We're spirit. It just gets muffled if it's in my philosophy is when we're here, we're supposed to be living a physical life. We're not supposed to be living in the spirit realm. There's a reason we're here. And that goes along with the whole subject of grounding. Me, myself, it's like when I'm here, I'm here. I'm not doing this 24/7. This is a part of who I am, but it's not everything I am. So again, it's that balance of, you got to remember we're here for a reason. And that could go into the psychic side of things. Spirit is not there to tell you how to do things. They're not snitches. They're not going to tell you if somebody's cheating on you. They're not going to give you lottery numbers. They're not here to solve your problems. They're here to give you the nudges to kind of keep you moving forward. That's it. And they're not involved, and they don't care about the material things, because really that's not important. That's like the least important thing.
Right.
So it's just a very broad thing, to talk about, but we have to remember that we're here for a reason. I don't know where that tangent came from.
I saw a question.
I like Tammy's questions. What are my spiritual talents? That's a question. You're not going to like this answer either, but you're going to have to find that for yourself, because I can't tell you what they are. But what I can tell you is things to pay attention to. What do you pull towards? What's nudging you in a certain direction? That's how it was for me. I felt after the experience with my sister, after she passed, mediumship has always been a fascination of mine. So that's been there. I didn't know I'd be doing this, but there's everything, right? The psychic was there, the healing was there, but it was like, no, I am pulled towards mediumship. That's all I want to do. So for me, that's the direction I was pulled in. But you have to really sit and feel what interests you. That's where you can start. But I feel it's wrong for anybody to tell you. They may suggest or share what they feel, but nobody can tell you exactly like what your talents are, because you have to discover them for yourself. That's just my opinion.
So Andrea was saying that her granddaughter is scared to talk about it, and there could be many reasons for that, like TV, the way people talk about ghosts, right? Even and kids, the way children talk about it. I don't know how old your I think you said granddaughter or grandchild is, and I wouldn't like force it on them either. I would just, if they talk about it, they talk about it, and be open with them. But I think that's why a lot of people are scared. It's just even children. It's just what they've heard. What do we do at night? We tell ghost stories. We tell our kids there's monsters under their bed, right? And I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm just...
Reminds me of a meme I just read here. Certainly, it's the dad tucking his kid into bed, and the kid says, "Dad, can we go to a haunted house for Halloween?" And Dad's like, "What's wrong with our house?" Right. "What do you mean, Dad?" And Dad just says, "Good night," and walks out of the room.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think it's because of TV, and everything's a demon, and everything's, evil, which is not true. It's TV producers who should not be allowed to put their garbage on TV.
The unknown is scary. Like it's scary. And imagine when you're very little.
Yeah, because you're experiencing this stuff for real. But then the only thing you may have to, especially if the kids are not talking about, they just have what's going on around them, and everything's freaking evil, which is not the case. Not even close.
Raven says she loves that meme.
You can probably see I get passionate about certain subjects. And I do have triggers when it comes to certain topics, when it comes to this work, because my part of my job is to nip some things in the bud about some false junk that goes around about this work. I think there's so many areas that are overinflated and complicated and not even close to what reality is. So I apologize, but not really. All right. So Facebook user, how can I make a connection directly with my spirit guides? I want to know exactly who is on my team, visually interact with them. Okay. So Jen, do you want to talk about that one, or should I go into my perception of what guides are?
Go for it.
All right.
Go for it. I'm
again, this is something that my first teacher told me, and I'm grateful she did. She would not tell me who my guides are because it is a personal connection, right? So again, this is work that you have to do. Everybody wants the easy way out. It wasn't easy for me. It took me 3 years before I understood what my guides were. So my perception, my guides are energy. They're not human. The spirit realm is not human. They're not people. They're energy. So in my mind, I had to just remember that fact. So when my guide comes through, my guide is what I feel is energy. And in my mind, I just see purple light. That is my guide. They don't have names because they're not human. They will go by whatever you feel comfortable. If you want to name your guide, or if you have this picture in your mind of what your guide looks like, they will cloak themselves to that image so you can be familiar with them. But again, you got to remember they are not human. I have never tried to figure out how many guides I have because I believe that there's more than one. I know we have one main guide that's with us from the time we, are born to the time we pass. And I know there's guides that interact and come in at different times depending on where we are on our journey. But again, I've never tried to humanize them, if you will. I just trust that they're there. I know they're there. I feel them when I ask them to be close to me. And then again, I had to learn how to do that myself in meditations, if you will. But to me, it means so much more when you make that personal connection, rather than taking a shortcut and having somebody tell you what their perception is. And this is important too. This can actually lead to frustration. So say I tell you what your guide looks like I said this before and it's just popping in my head again. So if I look at, I see your guide as the Monopoly guy. And now you have this image in your mind that, okay, my guide looks like the Monopoly guy. And now you go to communicate with them or try to meditate and get to know them, but this Monopoly guy doesn't show up. Now you're frustrated because, well, a medium told me that my guide looks like the Monopoly guy, but I'm not seeing that person. So you can see where that goes. So that's why I think it's important for you to go on that journey by yourself and discover them on your own. And there's so many tools out there that you can use, especially on YouTube. There's meditations, exercises, but they're there. So again, I don't make anything easy for anybody when it comes to this work, because this work is not easy. And I'm not going to pat people on the butt and say, come on, you can do it. Or, this is hard work. But it's so gratifying when you make these connections on your own.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely shortcuts, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the shortcuts aren't always beneficial.
Oh.
It took years. And I'm a little bit different than Michael because my spirit guides have been humanized. For a long time, it was just a feeling. Mm-hmm. And like Michael described, like maybe like a color, a feeling, just a knowing. And one day, faces, they came with faces, they came with names, and they came with stories. And it was surprising. I didn't ask for that. I wasn't meditating for that. That's just what happened. And it was like this really beautiful, special moment. And I still wonder, is that so that I could be closer to them? Because, each one of them had a story that I could relate to. And so I don't quite understand exactly how that works. I just know that mine now have names, and it's nobody anybody else would know, right? It's just names. It's just names. And a story, and what their role as a spirit guide in my life is about. So I know which direction to turn if I need help with, certain things. They have a certain strength, have a certain role to play. They have a certain reason. And so that was huge for me when that happened. It was mind blowing, actually.
Yep. And everybody's journey is different. Everybody's experience is different. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's just your experience. And I know people probably are like, man, I wanted you to tell me. Sorry. I'm not going to do that.
I'm trying to read So Caprice, but by the names, colors, or other things you get who is sending them. I know it's my spirit guides, even though, that they came to me and they were each individual. When I get an impression or when I get guidance, I don't necessarily know, oh, it's this one. Mm-hmm. It's just a collective spirit guides, right?
Yeah. And Caprice, I know it's frustrating. We have all been on that journey where it is frustrating, but it's worth it. It's worth it when you put in the work. Again, because if I tell you my perception, it's not going to match what maybe what
mine.
Yeah. They're there. The first thing you got to know and trust that they are there, trust that they hear you.
Yes.
And it's the work that you need to put in to develop. And it's not even develop the relationship because it's already there. You're just not consciously aware of it. So it's a matter of you just putting in that time, sitting with your guide and getting to know your guides again.
Which is really interesting, and which was a learning curve for me too, because I had to believe, in something that I couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just come, when I started this journey, from a very, very fragile, traumatic situation to where I don't believe a thing. I didn't believe anything. I had to start this journey from the bottom up. I had nothing. I was just that depleted. I was that broken. It's like, I have nothing. So I'll learn as I go. And I'll believe what resonates with me. And so it was really hard for me to get the spirit guide concept, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't hear him for a while. I was just so in such a dark, deep place. I didn't hear, I didn't know, I didn't believe.
Yeah.
But when it started coming in, that was the hardest thing, was to trust. You're not going crazy. This is I mean, I am crazy, but this is happening. That was hard. That was really hard. It's hard work.
It is. And again, it's worth it though. It's worth the work and effort that you put into it. Aaron's got a good question. If I had a reading, but none of my loved ones come through, did I do something wrong, or is it just no? So I will tell you straight up, it is not you. It is the medium. Period. Whether that's me, somebody else, doesn't matter. If your people don't come through during a reading, it has nothing to do with you. It is the medium 100%. I take that on myself. If I sit down with a reading with you, Aaron, my job is to bring through the people that you want to hear from. And my philosophy on this work has changed over the years. And it's really going towards this, that I ask a person, when I sit down for reading, I ask you, who do you want to hear from? And if you say mom, my mind will not allow me to believe that you're here for the reading. You want to hear from your mom. Why wouldn't your mom be there? Your mom's there. Your mom probably arranged this session. Absolutely. So if that happens, it is not you. It is the medium 100%.
It's not you, and it's not your loved ones in spirit. I know I've had clients ask me, are they okay? They didn't come through. Please know that it's definitely not your loved ones. They are there. And it's nothing you did wrong or right. It really just is the medium. And sometimes we all have off days. That's not to say they're a bad medium. Maybe they were just having an off day, but that connection should be there. That's not to say that the connection with every single one of them will be there, right? Because there's an endless supply and there's a limited amount of time. But definitely, if you sit down in a session with a medium, your loved ones will be there.
Because I'll tell you right now, if you sit down with me and I can't make a connection within the first 10 minutes, I end the session and I'll give you I refund your money, because I'm not doing my job.
Right.
And that's just, there's so many factors, like you said, but it's so rare. It's rare that happens.
Courtney has an interesting question. Do some spirit prefer certain mediums? Sometimes. Could that be it? I don't know that spirit prefers certain mediums, but I look at it like this. I prefer certain people to others, to be honest. I can have a conversation with some people and it just flows, right? And there are other people it's like pulling teeth with. I could have a conversation with them, but is it going to be my best conversation? Is it going to be awkward and stalled and no chemistry there? Absolutely. Spirit can be very much the same. But again, that goes to the medium.
Yeah. And I talked about this, funny enough, on TikTok yesterday when you bailed on me and stopped watching.
You were almost done. Did you? Did you really? So guess what, Michael?
I had to go wipe my nose, so I paused my
No, I came back after that.
I'm just kidding with you.
Maybe I was watching. You never know.
Go. But yeah, I was talking about that yesterday, that there are times when someone books a reading and I'll look at the email and immediately feel like something's not right. Yeah. And like Jennifer said, it's just, there's something with the personalities, because this may come as a shock, but some people probably don't like me because I'm very direct. Maybe, I don't know. But so there could be that thing. And again, it's rare, but when I feel that, I immediately act on it, and I usually cancel the appointment. I explain why, and it's not the person. It's just that I may not be the right medium for what they're looking for.
Also, it's not necessarily the spirit person. Sometimes it's the sitter in the medium. More often, it's the sitter in the medium that something, just like Michael said, it's just not there.
Exactly, Courtney. So if you're looking for fluffy unicorn farts from me, you got the wrong person. I am not the love and light unicorn fart kind of guy. And this is important when you do this work. You got to be who you are.
Yes.
You have to be your authentic self. And this is me. I'm not going to change who I am because I talk to spirit, which we all do. I am very direct. But the thing with being direct is you know exactly where you stand. And if I'm teaching somebody mediumship, I want the best for them. So I'm not going to BS them and tell them you're doing a great job where I feel that, no, these are areas you need to work on and you need to do the work yourself. I'm going to give you the tools. But if you expect somebody to just show up to a class and 6 weeks later, you're a medium out there doing this work, you're going to be disappointed. So I am very direct with people, but I want the best for you and I will push you and I will make it difficult because this is a difficult journey. But the outcome will be so worth it, so that's just me.
I actually have a little thing that I go through in my private sessions. It takes about a minute, right? Just to explain what I do, I explain how I do it. And that's one of the things I talk about is I will relay to you exactly as I see, feel, hear, and know the information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not filtered at all. It's just exactly how it's coming in. So yeah, it's interesting. It's fun though.
It is. But that's where we started in the beginning. And it's like it's coming full circle towards the end of the show today. You got to be you.
Absolutely. I was just about to ask you, is it time to wrap it up?
I guess. Unless
I
there's
didn't know how long we had today, to be honest.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, Todd, is there anything coming up afterwards if we're still ranting about some things? If people, this is their first time, they're like, oh my God, who is that guy? He's such an ass.
Yeah, I know you have to be, right?
Yes, we were definitely, that title could not be any more perfect. Spiritually Imperfect.
He said we're good.
We're good, so we can rant a little bit longer. Or at least I can. What was that candy? You get the sour. What's the one? It's one sour, one sweet. That's our show. That's
What?
I gotta find that candy. It's like this.
Like the Zots or something?
Whatever. You bite it and it's sweet, and then all of a sudden it turns sour.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, but that's our show. We got to have our own candy, like trademark now, because I'm the Sour Patch Kid.
Sour Patch.
But no, I just have to be honest with people, and it's not to say that I don't empathize with people. I do. But it is what it is. Let's see.
Aaron, yes, I think so. Here I am speaking for Michael. Are we still open for setting up private sessions together?
That's funny. I was just thinking about that a couple weeks ago, and then I saw a penny and forgot about it.
That was your confirmation too.
Because we did. We were actually talking about putting that on each other's website.
Yes.
Not that you can directly book, but to reach out, and then we can coordinate a session. Because we tried to do that before, but nobody liked us, and nobody booked a session. And then we're like, fine, we're taking our baseball and going home then. Nobody likes us anymore.
Not doing this. Wasn't it so strange? Because everybody wanted us to do those sessions.
Well,
we set aside like a full day, and like we got nothing.
And the price wasn't unreasonable. We were only asking like $1,500 a session. I mean, come on, look what you're getting. No, it was not that expensive.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
But
so yes, if anybody's interested in that, just reach out and we'll work that out.
Yeah, we can definitely set that up. I don't know. I think that may be it for today. I don't know. I felt it was productive.
It was. We didn't get a lot of reading done, but that's okay.
But I think there was some things that needed to be discussed, and that's what this show is about. It's about discussing not only our journey, but what you're going through, maybe helping you give you guidance. And remember, it's guidance. That's what spirit does. That's what our guides do. It's guidance. It's not do the work for you. That's not what they're called. It's guidance. It's that nudge. That's the inspiration that you feel like when you're stuck and you finally get to a place where you quiet your mind a little bit, and all of a sudden you're in that quiet space and you feel inspired. Like, why wasn't I thinking that before about whatever this situation is? When those moments happen, that's your guides, that's your higher self. That's you quieting your mind and letting them help you. Again, they're not going to tell you step by step what to do, but it's those moments where you feel inspired about finding a solution to whatever it is you're going through. And it usually comes when you're not expecting it, because when you force things, you're thinking about it. And when you're thinking about it, it's not going to happen. At least not in my experience. It's when I'm, sticking my fingers in, light sockets or something that I shouldn't be doing, and my attention's totally focused on something else, that I have this random thought come in to whatever I'm going through, like a problem. And I'm like, man, why didn't I think of it? The solution is so simple, but I was letting myself get in the way. So again, that's guidance. That's what it feels like.
Shannon's got a quick comment here. And when I read it, I just thought of something. It says, when I'm trying to connect with the spirit world, I get a headache. Will that quit? Like, the first thing that just came to my mind was, you're trying too hard, Shannon. It just feels like you're trying too hard. Very, very subtle. It's very subtle.
Something just popped up, and Jen, you'll learn about this from when you go through Charlie's class.
God, I'm so afraid. It's tomorrow.
No, he talks about, and it's so funny because I feel the same way. You'll see other mediums and psychics talking about raising your vibration, right? Have you ever tried to raise your vibration and not feel like you're taking a dump? I'm sorry, but that's what it looks like. You're sitting there so hard. I'm trying to raise my vibration. Your eyes are closed and you're forcing this, and it's like nothing's happening. It's because I believe that your vibration is your vibration. We don't meet spirit halfway. They're around us all the time. So it was just something else, because we're talking about frustrating things. And I think when people talk about raising your vibration, I think that may be a bit misleading. Again, that's my opinion. But your vibration is fine where it's at. You don't need to raise it. It's there. If you want to be in a better mood, go watch a comic or, do that.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we raise our vibrations just in the way we live every single day.
Yeah.
Whether it's music, or maybe we take a walk, or maybe we're laughing with our friends. It doesn't matter what it is. But I feel like that's just a constant work in progress. And it's just one of those things with the development, right? Just comes along.
I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes it just comes out of my mouth. I don't have a filter.
No, what's funny is when I had that same like vision in my head, just that you voiced it. Like, you're just trying too hard. You're just straining your head, right? You're just trying too hard. Spiritual constipation. That's what we'll call it.
There you go. And it's not good to force it or push it. Any doctor will tell you. You just got to relax.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We are getting on a tangent now.
And I says wine helps with that.
Wine, coffee, or Metamucil.
Oh, Metamucil.
That will help raise your vibration in a safe, efficient manner. Wow. People are like, oh my God, what did we tune into? Hey, again, look at the title.
You never know. You never know.
All right. I don't know. You want to end it on on that high note?
I think so. I think we're done for the day on that note.
Oh my God. Jen's still like, well, how did I get hooked up with this guy? And how did this last over 3 years? She's probably questioning it, just like,
What's going on?
What is going on here? All right. So
we'll be back next week on Monday.
Unless somebody cuts another phone line tries to take us out of this competition.
That's right.
What are the obstacles ahead? So, hey, get out and vote. Get out and vote for our show if you haven't. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
All right, everybody.
Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.